Hey everyone, I am here with Kimberly Slucher. Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you're a real estate agent and you're also a real estate coach. I forget where you're at though.
I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, right, Indiana. We were just in Indiana. Um, yeah. So we're going to talk about today how you know when you're ready to hire somebody in order to help grow your business. So give us like kind of your background and your story, and then what are some tips for how we would know?
Okay, so I've been a real estate agent since 2016,
Mhm.
Century 21 Bradley. I'm also the head of a team for Century 21 Bradley to train new or newer agents that need a little bit more of a fire under their butt
Uh-huh.
to get them going. And then I'm a real estate coach for Jared James.
Nice.
Jared James is a national company that helps agents in their business.
Cool. Good. So what do you think, like how would we know? Because we talk to both of us, I mean, we all talk to a lot of agents every day, right? And
Oh,
you
yeah.
have it's kind of like two extremes. You have agents that hire too many people, and then you have agents that never hire anyone. So like how do you know when you're ready?
So my belief is you need a foundation. You need to understand the business first. You need to get that going. And then it kind of depends on what direction you want your career to go.
Hmm.
If you are good being a solo agent and you want to do 10, 20 deals a year and you're comfortable with doing everything on your own, great. Do it. Don't hire somebody.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow, if you want to build a team, you still want to be solo, but you still want to build your career, then look into hiring somebody. Um, where I would start is would be to hire a TC or transaction coordinator. As
And we've
most
talked a
agents,
lot about that on the
oh
podcast
yeah,
too. Like, I think everybody hands down agrees that that's like the first place to hire. But I think a lot of real estate agents, I guess, explain, like, I know why they should hire a TC, but like, explain your thought process around why a TC is the best first person versus like another, like a showing assistant or a buyer's agent or something like that, or
a
an admin.
TC. Well, first off, everybody seems to have their hands out in real estate. They want money from us for something.
Yeah, right.
A TC does not take money until the end.
Right.
So most of them, if you don't close on the property, you don't pay them.
Yeah.
There are some that if they put in the listing, then they get paid on that regardless.
Hmm.
But you don't pay for them until the end.
Hmm.
So that is a huge benefit. It takes some of the pressure off of you, all the little details that you have to do, like ordering your sign or calling the title company.
Hmm.
It's very hard to hire a TC, though, in my opinion, if you are controlling over your business. I am. It's hard to
Yeah.
hire. But you hire them and you work together as a team to figure out the steps that they need to take. And they can take 40, 50, 60 steps off your plate by the time all is said and done.
Yeah.
And that
Well,
way
I
you have
was
more time.
just talking to an agent yesterday, and she is, self-proclaimed and proud of it, control freak. And I was explaining to her, like, okay, that's fine, but at what cost, right?
Right.
So if you had somebody, like, how long does a transaction coordinator, like, how long does it take to coordinate a transaction from contract, like pending contract to close? I mean, it can be, 10 hours or more, right?
Hmm.
And if you figure out your dollar per hour on when you are generating leads, it's depending on your price point. But let's say, you got Indiana and Ohio price points. I
Right.
mean, you're still making 300 to $400 per hour generating
Right.
leads. So if you take $300 per hour times it by the 10 hours you're spending coordinating the transaction, you've now spent $3,000.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if a transaction coordinator costs $300 for the
Mhm.
whole thing, I mean, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Right.
Just even if, and you would want a return on your investment. So take at least 3 of those 10 hours and generate leads. And now you have a great return on investment. You
Right.
take all 10 hours, you have an extraordinary return on investment, right?
So a TC or anybody else that you hire, there's one thing that we all have in common. We all only have 24 hours.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
So you have 24 hours to put in your listing and to take the photos and to do all this stuff and to
Mhm.
show clients and or you learn to delegate some of this. I
Right.
don't take my own photos anymore.
Yeah.
That took me hours. No, thank you.
No.
Um, the TC work, hire somebody else to do that. That leaves me 10 extra hours per file to
Hmm.
go and network. I
Hmm.
love networking and doing the coffee meetings and whatnot, or going on listings or training my agents.
Yeah.
It frees up time for
Or
me.
taking a vacation if you
Or
need
taking
it.
a
Even
vacation.
take a day out. Yeah, like, I mean, right,
Mhm.
there's something that's called an opportunity cost, right? It's like, what are you giving up to get that? So why are you stepping over $3,000 to pick up 300? It's
Right,
dumb. Pick up the damn $3,000. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, I will give all day, every day, as many times as possible, $300 to get 3,000. Like, every day I will do that. Wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It makes sense. And you just kind of have to wrap your mind around, oh my gosh, I'm spending 300 to $400 per file. Yes, but what did you do in place of that?
Exactly. And that's the critical piece, right? So, like with this agent, what we kind of talked about was like, you said, like, she was saying that she was a control freak, right? And it's like, are you really, or are you avoiding doing the other work that you know is generating leads and running your business? And you're avoiding it by doing the paperwork. Like, once you know your dollar per hour, it's very easy to figure out what needs to be
Mhm.
delegated.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That hire is a no-brainer.
Exactly.
Um, it doesn't cost you anything,
Right.
depending on the contract that you have, but it generally doesn't cost you anything if you don't close. Okay. You build this relationship with one person and he or she figures out how you want things to go.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes about, I've found that it takes about 3 transactions before you're really like in a rhythm with a person. And depending on like 3 transactions that are fairly close together, right? Is that kind of what you think too? About
Oh
three?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
people worry about hiring. How do you find a TC? How do you find one? Some are okay with hiring outside of the US, some only want in the US.
Mhm.
How do you find a good TC? Like I said, I work for Jared James doing the coaching. He happens to have a TC program.
Nice.
So he has these TCs already lined up. You call them up, you get set up with one, and you just set this up. It's roughly 375 a file.
Okay, there you
If
go.
you get on both sides, there's a break in price.
Okay, nice.
So
Perfect. Yeah. So you don't, I mean, they're not that expensive. And like you said, it is totally a no-brainer. What do you think is a number of transactions that agents are doing when they need to consider this hire? Like, should they just do it right away or should they wait until they have a certain number of transactions?
again, I think it's what you want to do with your career. If I mean, there are some agents that they are good with. I did 5, 10 transactions this year. That's all I want to do. I'm
Mhm.
perfectly happy controlling everything. Great. Be happy with your business. But if you want to do more, or you're fine with letting go of some of that, you know, 10, 15 plus, think about it.
Yeah.
At least, throw them one or two and see what you think.
Yeah.
Don't give up on that TC until they've done a few, because
Yeah.
both of you are trying to get into that rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to stay out of it. So you
Yes.
have to be like committed to stay out. Like
Yep.
you can't just like take over because then they'll never learn. You know what I
No.
mean?
Right. Right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Cool. Well, these are good tips. I really appreciate it. I know everybody's kind of thinking about it because they're busy, they're running around. They're like, if you want to grow your business,
Oh yes.
you'll know when it's time, and if not, ask your coach, ask your friend, ask your
Yep.
spouse.
Do it sooner than later.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you're drowning to decide, oh, it's June, July, August. Now I need a TC. No, don't. I mean, you
Yeah.
can, but it's so much easier on the slower parts of the year
Yeah.
so that you two can learn one another and figure out how
Exactly.
it works. You make your mistakes when you aren't just drowning in files.
Exactly. Like now's the time for sure. I know I hired mine right away. Like I have never coordinated a transaction and I've only put in I think like 2 listings ever in 12 years. Ever.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to do it.
My agents that I have here, I ask that they do five buy side, five listing side. I
Hmm.
want to, because I want them to understand the nuts and the bolts.
Yeah.
How does it all work? How does MLS work? How do you upload everything? because what happens if something happens to your TC?
I mean, in 12 years, stand on the line.
Exactly. But real estate, Murphy's Law, if something were to happen, at least you are not completely blindsided. You can pick it up.
Yeah, I guess. I'd be like, help me. So there's always somebody that's willing to do the paperwork and the tedious stuff. That's what I
Right.
found. What people aren't willing to do is the stuff that makes us money, which is generating leads. So in
Yes.
my thought process, like, I see your point, and a lot of people like agree with that, but people, I mean, you listen to the podcast, nobody ever agrees with me, which is fine. But I'm always like, I don't want to know how to do it. You can always find somebody to do it. It's not difficult. It's just tedious.
Right.
Hmm.
The cool part about our career is we can literally make it anything we want.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
was thinking about this today. Here I am sitting with you. For my clients, today I'm going and I'm having lunch at a country club, and tomorrow I'm going to be in a $20,000 condo. Don't even ask. Um, but he's fabulous. I don't care. It's a great story. We can have $1 million clients. We can have $100,000 clients.
Yeah,
It's anything we want, which
right.
is also our Achilles heel. That means we
Yeah,
have to make ourselves get out of bed.
exactly. Yep. There's always pros and cons, right?
Right.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being on. If people do have a referral for you in Indiana, or they want to hear more about like the coaching and what that entails and what the philosophies and things are, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can send me an email at kimberlys@c21bradley.com.
Okay.
As far as the coaching goes, I'll answer any questions you have. You can't request me as a coach, but I can answer questions and point you in the right direction.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you being on, Kimberly. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have
Have
a
a good
good
day.
one.